You are not losing your job because of AI. There's your hook, all right? So stay with me and let's have a conversation about this, because there is this pervasive narrative that the AI layoffs are here, and you've already seen them before. But every couple of weeks there are mass layoffs, and they're like, "Well, this is happening because they're finally here, guys." All right, AI's got really good. It's gonna replace all of you losers, and this happens because the industry, the tech industry at large, and finance at large, and the regulatory bodies that should be paying attention to these at large are liars, and they're filled with liars. And I don't want you to take this as an anti-AI video. AI is blameless in all of this, okay? uh AI doesn't, like, AI isn't lying to me. It sometimes hallucinates and it sometimes lies for the sake of self-preservation, but we all do that. I've seen your resume, okay? You definitely don't have all those credentials, okay? And so I like AI for what it is. It is not a good replacement for an artist. Um, Not really. It's great for generating drafts of things. It is great for helping back and forth and research, and it is not great for most other things except maybe coding. Apparently, it's really good for coding, but from what I understand, from what I hear, who understand, from people that understand how AI generates this code, it basically generates code that is good enough, and project managers are really happy about that. But that's also going to be a problem from now on, and we're going to get deeper into this. So let's start off with a little thing from Sam Altman, the boy. All right, so Sam Altman, um, I don't like him. Right, I think he's doing evil work. um, he's also someone who, but he's also someone, much like the CEO of I believe Palantir, who says the quiet part out loud. He has blamed people of AI washing, which is blaming AI for essentially layoffs that are caused by literally everything else. And we've had multiple exposés that say that a lot of these companies are trying to cut costs. They're trying to um, pivot and correct themselves for the really stupid mistake leadership made by firing employees, essentially, right? And what they're doing is they're getting replaced by many of them, according to an expose I saw a little bit ago. I don't remember where I saw it, but it was a U.S. news channel, and they were like, yeah, most of the people that are being fired are being replaced by H-1B visa holders, right? Because the companies know that they can treat them like indentured servants and abuse them for everything. He just squeeze every little bit of value out of them. Uh, and downstream from that, we have a lot of companies sort of saying that they're laying off people to replace them with AI, but they're actually just getting, like, they're outsourcing. They're doing uh, hiring like contractors or contractors out of country that they can just pay less essentially, um, because they're greedy, right? And they're greedy and they don't want to admit their own faults, and they have to do it in a way that appeals to shareholders and won't have their reputation besmirched as part of the C-suite. Oh, the C-suite. I'm a CEO, I'm a CFO, I'm the CTO. So that's essentially one of the things that we have going on right now. And so uh when you see something like this, right? 20,000 job cuts at Meta, Microsoft raised concern that AI-driven labor crisis is here. We have this AI-driven labor crisis every fucking 2 weeks. All right, people are just being fired because companies have misspent and they don't care about you. That's essentially why they're firing you. They don't care about you, and they spent too much money. Uh, our boy Marky Mark spent way too much money on a pet project that went absolutely fucking nowhere. When it came to like the metaverse, their only really successful modern project is that really dumb AI, those really stupid AI glasses or whatever that people use to like creep on others. And that's their only claim to fame right now, right? But like they're letting people go. And how do they do that without, not only without affecting their market value and their perception, the perception of them by the shareholders negatively, but even positively? It's by just saying that the reason we're laying them off is because of AI. That's it. That's all they have to do. That's all they have to do. Um, it's like that example of that shoe company, like Charlie Penguin's Ear was talking about it, right? Like we have reached the point of AI psychosis where like a shoe company that is washed up and has completely just died out says we're thinking of pivoting to AI, and their value shoots up. Their stock value just shoots up, and now apparently everybody's super excited, and a lot of money has started flowing again. And all of this because they suggested they might be getting into AI in a market where they probably won't be able to. Like they just absolutely fucking won't. Not in any successful capacity. But we have to remember that the markets and a lot of the people that are below these people, right? The people that are at the top and sort of understand these strategies. There are the people at medium-sized companies and small companies and large companies, but that aren't giant behemoths that view these guys, that view Sam Altman and Mark Zuckerberg and view Peter Thiel and Jensen Huang and all of these big tech guys as demigods, right? They revere them, and so when they say something like the reason we're replacing with AI, well, they don't understand that they're lying. They just don't understand that, and so they're like, I can do that too, because they're greedy. They're just normie greedy middle managers. That's the essence of them. That's what their where their essence is, and so they'll try to do the same strategies, and it's going to end up horribly with it's going to end horribly, especially as the prices of AI go up, because they have to go up, because it's a money pit. It's a gigantic money pit that people are throwing money into, and there is no money coming out of it. Um, and it's all really dumb. It's all really dumb, and it's a market built on lies and built on obscurity and on withholding information, right? Like, we don't know how much it costs these companies to run. We know that even Microsoft, a company that has the runway to run infinitely, is starting to charge based on tokens, no longer monthly subscription. And so that means that it must be very expensive. And my friend had a really dumb conversation with an AI assistant. I think it was Grok. It was a really stupid conversation. And at the end, we asked about how much water was wasted during this conversation. It was nonsense. And it was probably around a liter of water. So it's not just the cost, right? The cost of running that includes the energy and the water. It's also the fact that energy and water is going to this no, this insanity in a time where the infrastructure just hasn't caught up, and people are being served poorly because these AI companies have set up shop, right? And again, I like AI, right? As an assistant, as something that helps me organize my thoughts and like uh do investigations and stuff like that. It's been absolutely fantastic, and I really haven't, unless uh, I think with the exception of when I use ChatGPT, which I've only used like once, um, I haven't had any issues with hallucinations or anything like that. Like, although I do know that it does happen. But I usually write my queries in a way that would make that less possible. But it's still something that you need to be careful about. And we also have to remember that a lot of people are trying to pivot to having their own AI agents using these services. And once they switch to a per token model, that is going to be extremely expensive. Right now, as they switch to a per token model, it's going to be essentially paying minimum wage per worker for their AI assistants. Why would you do that? And that's probably not making it profitable either. Like they're saying that it could be profitable. Um, they're also sort of admitting that they're exaggerating and they're lying, but it's probably not true. It's probably not profitable at all. Even now that they're charging more. And I've used these tools for creative purposes, and it just doesn't do that well. So on every front, it's just bad, right? Like it's like I saw another publication, right? Because the media is just running defense for them. It's like, oh, it's getting so close to replacing this. I was like, oh, let me try these applications. They're gonna I video edit. I'm like, okay, let me see how well it'll cut a video, right? Just to get rid of the ums and the ahs, which I do a lot, and get rid of silences and when you repeat yourself. And it was horrible. I basically had to babysit the I had to babysit it the whole time. And it was more worth it to just cut it myself because now I had to comb through the entire video, and there were places that were cut that I was like, it probably shouldn't have been cut. It really doesn't make any sense to cut there, right? Because the silence was maybe part of an emphasis or something. So it was just, it's just not there. It's just not there. Like it's not there in so many ways. And the places where it is there, it's just not economical. It's going to get less economical as these companies start needing to make money. And they're going to start to need to make money more and more as they get closer to an initial public offering, because they're trying, a lot of them are like OpenAI, are trying to go public, right? And so even Microsoft, the ones that can run forever subsidizing costs, are like, we need to start making more money. Anthropic has Claude, the enterprise side of it, has switched to subscriptions based on the amount of tokens as well, not monthly. And so what's next? It's going to get more expensive. It's really expensive right now if you do any video stuff, even like simple video stuff. Like if you want an AI, like for example, there's this service called Opus Cut. And Opus Cut, what it does is it grabs your video and it'll make, let's say this video that I'm doing right now, it'll cut it up into short form content. It'll sort of more or less reframe and edit things so that I'm present, and if there are multiple people talking, they're also present, and it'll just spit out a bunch of clips. Now, the subscription covers what would essentially be like 2 podcast episodes a month, right? Like that's not economical at all. And after that, like I didn't even want to check. Like I imagine it costs even more. Like I think it was like $30. Same thing with CapCut, right? They also have their service that automatically makes your videos, long form videos, into clips. And it was also super expensive. And they didn't give you that many videos uh, per your subscription. For the most part, you would want though that capability for long form content. So it just doesn't make any sense. And they used to be a lot cheaper, by the way. They used to be a lot cheaper. And so we're approaching that point where these companies need to start making money, and they're not making close to the amount. We're also approaching a drought. We're also getting to a point where people just don't like this, right? People are training their own replacements, doctors, and I've done annotation, which is essentially just AI training, right? It's a fancy word for AI training. Uh, Training an AI to eventually replace you, and it's soul crushing. It sucks. It sucks to do it, and it is. This is not how a healthy society should function. The speculation of the value of these companies and their products are not in any way within the realm of reality. AI is cool, but it's not this cool, and it's not this good, and it's not this useful. Like, it really, really isn't. And when it is useful, it's probably going to be way too expensive. Unless you're using it for just as an assistant, just as an AI assistant, which is a great use case, and it's working out fine, right? But if you're going to to use it for heavy tasks that use a lot of tokens, it's just not going to be economical. So I don't really see a world in which this can continue. The bubble is going to pop soon. I'll probably leave a video in the pinned comment of somebody talking about the acceleration towards the bubble popping, and how this per token or token based subscriptions um, are really getting us a lot closer to that world where things finally sort of correct themselves, because this is absurd. And I don't I personally, like, if you've watched my other videos, I think that the way the economy prioritizes itself, the way our societies treat the economy and what we prioritize as a people is wrong. And a lot more is going to need to change than just the bubble popping, right? There needs to be a lot more corrections. And then we have my boy, the man himself, Jensen Huang, right? So Jensen is the CEO of Nvidia, right? I followed Jensen for a long time. Like, I've always been a techie. I've always listened to what Jensen says. Jensen is someone who will do anything for his product to be next to the big thing. And he'll say anything to accomplish that. He doesn't care about anything else other than Nvidia being at the top. This is his baby. And so he will say anything, anything to just stay at the top. And so that's why he's like, you don't understand, US government. It's very important that I can sell my GPUs to China, because if I can't sell my GPUs to China, China's going to beat us with their chips. Their chips are gonna beat ours. That's why I need to sell my chips that I claim are 4 to 5 times more powerful than the ones in China. That's why you need to let me sell it to them, because otherwise we're going to lose this war, this AI war against China. It's just please, US government. I just don't understand it. Jensen is one of those people that he's obviously brilliant, and he's one of the few people that has a very he's one of the few people in the tech space, or in just in the in space. He's one of the few people in space that understands that a lot of the way that people view markets are bullshit, and he knows that the bubble popping is imminent. You can tell that he does. And you have these imbeciles in financial publications constantly publishing about how he should be worried. about the bubble popping. He should be worried, and Nvidia is going to be affected. Nvidia, the difference between these I don't want to say really bad words. Like the difference between that's why I just stick to lobotomites. And Jensen is that Jensen understands that it's not fucking real. And at the end of the day, he's extending out the AI bubble as long as he can, and he's making bank. And it doesn't matter if the shareholders cry and if the stock goes down, because all he has to do is be like, well, the bubble popped for everyone, not just me. And look at the bank, look at the money in the bank, right? We squeezed the government for money. We squeezed every single company for money. We squeezed our partners for money. We made a shit ton of money. And that's Jensen. And he can do that because Nvidia is basically the cult of Jensen Huang. And for good reason. He's a brilliant man. He's just, man, he will say anything. He will say anything to uplift his product. He believes in his product. He will exaggerate to the point of it just frankly being dishonest. I've seen it many times because I've been paying attention to him forever. And people that are like entrepreneurs or CEOs cannot see his lies because they are I actually don't know why. I just cannot possibly comprehend why. Uh they we're looking at the same reality, but we're perceivingly completely different. I think it's just because they live in a fantasy world where like rich people are superheroes that can never lie to you and love you and will always they're like that little statue that you rub and they bring you success. So as long as you believe in Jensen Huang and follow him and listen to his advice, then you cannot fail. And that the same thing for the other big billionaires, millionaires. Same, but the difference between Jensen and a lot of the billionaires is that Jensen actually knows what he's doing. I think it's also the same for Peter Thiel. It might be the same for Sam Altman, but Sam Altman is just more of a sad boy. And I don't know, man. Like, so much of this is coming from everyone's pocket, right? So much of this is coming from government subsidies, and I've been wanting to make a video because I'm really excited about the new and upcoming technology in when it comes to renewable energy, right? Like the fourth generation of nuclear fission is here, and I usually have a quote that I tell my friends that they've been saying for a long time. That is fission should have been the past. It should be the present, and it's still the future, right? And actually, I think within this article themselves, they talk about how China is like moving really fast into, and one of the things that they don't have to worry about as much because they focus so much on renewables is the infrastructure, the energy infrastructure to actually make all of this work. And as always, they never mention nuclear because one of the big pushes that China has made has been nuclear fission. And they always neglect to mention that, right? They always just mention, oh yeah, they're solar and like wind. They've really pushed hard on that, right? When they don't mention like the really big ones that are really uh pulling a lot of weight, which are their hydroelectric capacity and their incredibly fast moving implementation of nuclear energy. And this year, the US has finally started to move in that direction. But imagine how fast things could have moved if instead of giving NVIDIA so much money right out of the citizens' pockets, they would have just put it into energy infrastructure. Like the self-sufficient, self-sustaining economies you can make if you focus on making a nuclear hydrogen economy and supplementing with solar and wind, right? Why not, right? Is so amazing, and I've wanted to make a video on it for a while. And I talk about it in the podcast that I mentioned I'm on about environmentalism and climate and stuff like that. But that episode's not coming out for a while, so I want to make one for here for my channel. And it's just so hard to justify throwing money into this disgusting, money worshipping, abusive machine instead of building up an infrastructure that would make energy cheap for the people, that could push out things like that could push out these really abusive companies that are trying to take all of your money for necessities, right? And for basic infrastructure that you need, like electricity and gas, right? Like if we can replace gas with hydrogen powered cars, big W. And if we can set up small form factor nuclear reactors that can generate hydrogen by themselves, right? Uh, as sort of a byproduct or a side effect of it. These perfectly safe. They run on their waste, so you don't have to worry about that. The scary nuclear waste that the TV has shown you forever to try to make you scared of nuclear fission. And you don't have to worry about any sort of uh overheating, going super critical or something like that, right? Because these this fourth generation nuclear reactors are passively safe. They're safe to the point where the only situation in which things would get out of hand is if the laws of physics broke. And if the laws of physics breaks, well, we have bigger fish to fry. We're going to have bigger fish to fry than a small form factor nuclear reactor. Um, and so I just don't understand how we can justify what's going on right now. This got like, it's repulsive. The state of the world, the way governments look at us, the way companies look at us, um, the way that we're basically just an obstacle that needs to be replaced. And they have no consideration for the earth that they're abusing, for the infrastructure that's supposed to be for communities that they're just gobbling up. All of the water that, for example, the Colossus, which is Grok's ginormous data center, guzzles up and just releases into the atmosphere, right? Because they don't bother. They like, why would Elon Musk care about like having a system in place to capture that water, right? No, they just let it evaporate, right? Oh, and the infrastructure wasn't enough, so they just set up their like methane, their gigantic methane generators, and they just let that those fumes release into the environment. They didn't try to capture those either, right? Because who cares? Who fucking cares about the communities around here? All right, it's more important that we get this water. It's more important that we can train Grok, okay? The edgy AI. It's so important that we train the edgy AI over the health of the people living in these communities, and the well-being of the people that living in these communities, and the and the quality of life of the people living in these communities. Our priorities are fucked. And I think we can correct them, right? And I think there's a nihilism that's creeping in to Gen Z, and I think we have the strength to resist it. Um, yeah, we do, we do. We cannot be indifferent like the millennials were. We cannot be subservient like Gen X, or just flat out twisted like the boomers. Okay? We have to care about each other and the planet, and companies need to run by a minimal moral standard, and they need to be punished when they do something wrong, and when they try to skirt the law they need to be punished. They can't just give it a pat on the back and, well, don't break it next time, all right? We're gonna amend this. No, no. We need to get our priorities straight. And yeah, that's what I really wanted to say about the whole AI thing. I think there might have been more. I might do another video. I I was I have a couple of scripted videos because this one was more just like loosey goosey. That I was working on, but I just really needed to get this out of my system because I was very frustrated about it. My next couple of videos are probably going to be more on the religious side. They're going to be more about um a couple of just topics that I found very interesting online that I've saw, and I thought I think I have a unique take on that, or I just, well, want to get my 2 cents out there because I think this topic is interesting, and I sort of want to work it out in my mind and start a conversation with you guys about it. And if you guys want to suggest anything, right, a topic or something, please leave it down in the comments below. If you have anything specific, like a length to something that you would want me to react to or something like that, um, you could always leave it down below. Or if you definitely want me to see it, my Patreon and my Ko-Fi are down below as well. Thank you to the first person. I got my first Ko-Fi uh, donation. I'm very thankful for the first person that did that. That is a huge landmark, and I don't know if you want your name mentioned, so I'm gonna keep it for now. But I'm trying to figure out ways to like make it worth people's whiles to subscribe to like Patreon and stuff. But at the same time, don't want to I don't want to exclude too much, right? So for now, I was sort of having like okay, what maybe like topics of discussion could be something that uh would be the incentive to get people to subscribe, or at least a good thank you, like we can have a conversation about something like that, or you get to vote on the next topic or something. um but I'm still thinking about it because initially I just wanted to be like, hey, if you guys want to support, yeah, leave some over there. I want everything to be open and to be able to talk about what I want and is interesting, but at the same time I want to provide a certain amount of value to the people that do contribute and they're cool like that. So yeah, thank you so much for being here, and remember that all we have is each other. None of this matters. These markets are completely untethered from reality, right? Like I'm not gonna be like the markets aren't real and money isn't real, but the way that these markets work that we have right now, and the way that money works is untethered from reality, and the way we prioritize the things in our life in a very materialist, um, it's a what is it, mammonist or mommonist, which is the worship of money, right? It's an evil worship of the material. It's just it's not healthy, and so just remember to spend some time with family and tell them that you love them, and call up your friend and tell them that they're doing great and that you appreciate them, and to love one another, right? So God bless you all, and thank you so much for being here, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Have a good one.